It's a particularly beautiful part of the world, especially a particularly beautiful part of South Africa. It's a very cosmopolitan place. There are a lot of different people from different backgrounds, lots of ethnicities, a lot of culture, very vibrant in most respects. And yeah, that's about all I have to say.
Rich history.
Sexy human beings.
Sexy human beings.
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind. Neglect the seeds, but still they grow.
As for the crime in South Africa, what you've heard is probably true for the most part, but I think it's important to not generalize unnecessarily or irresponsibly, because there are safer areas in the country, and especially in Cape Town. And I think you just need to exercise, much like anywhere else in the world, a degree of common sense. You know, don't go walking alone into some sort of dark alley where you probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, if someone calls you to come down an alley, you don't follow them.
You don't do that. You know,
Unless it's me.
keep your hands firmly in your pockets, protecting your valuables, etc. That's definitely something to keep in mind when walking around in the CBD. But otherwise, like in the more suburban areas, it's mostly fine. But yeah.
At the altar, the daily doleful sacrament. I mop your brow and blab the wine, or am I flesh?
Yeah, in Cape Town we're lucky to have a very diverse music scene. Obviously the dominant styles here are indie rock and trance music, it just seems to be how it is. But we've had a strong punk scene going. I'm almost 30, I've been going to shows for about 15 years. It comes in waves, you know, it goes up and down. But we have hardcore bands, metal bands, death metal, black metal. We've had screamo bands, ska, reggae, punk. Everybody sort of plays together. There's not specifically a hardcore scene or a punk scene. You know, you'll have a standard lineup, could be a bunch, maybe 2 punk rock bands, a hardcore band, and a bunch of metal bands playing together on a night, or even more like rock bands playing with the more melodic punk and hardcore bands. Really depends. Yeah, I think once again as South Africans we've got very diverse cultures going here, and so it brings its own influence and mix into things.
We're all from the southern suburbs, Cape Town. We all grew up together, roughly the same area, same time. Some of us we went to primary school together, although at different times in our lives. And except for Scott, who got sent away because he's a little shit.
Like most South Africans, we have kind of mixed heritage. We're all pretty obviously of European descent in this band. Yeah, I think my ancestors were Scottish. Alan is a Scottish surname. White, which is you know, added to my surname, is Irish, and my mom's side English. But yeah, I've also got Afrikaans ancestry, and the Afrikaners have been in South Africa since the 1600s, 1500s. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I go back with German and Irish heritage to I don't even know when, but my family's been in South Africa for a good 5 generations. So.
That's why you drink so much.
Yeah. My family goes back to around 900 AD. I've got German, French, Portuguese, Spanish, Irish descents, and yeah, you can trace the family line back before. Mixed bag, yeah.
Yeah, similarly a mixed bag. Go back to like 13th, 14th century Europe. There's a lot of French and Dutch and Scottish and whatever.
A lot of Scottish.
A lot of Scottish, as you can see. A lot of angry kilted people and Vikings and whatnot. So yeah, we're a pretty motley bunch. We had the intention of, like, at least in the beginning, we wanted to play kind of like very Misery Signals, Life in Your Way kind of stuff.
Like proggy metal.
Yeah, it was just like, you know, kind of thinking man's punk. It's not supposed to sound derogatory in any way, but some people can take it like that.
I would see Bad Religion as thinking man's punk.
Fair enough. And yeah, we contacted Chris. He played in the post-hardcore band as well, and yeah, I mean that's how yeah, Mitch joined later on second.
He was playing in black metal bands, being too cold.
Just being cold and angry and frostbitten, and yeah, that's
not much snow around here, so it doesn't really work that well.
We're a pretty young band, so we were pretty young. We're a fairly young band, and so I guess we don't have like some massive sprawling heritage, you know, historical backstory, and yeah. The name has its origins in a previous member of the band, one of the founding members of the band, and I don't know. He just kind of said it one day, and we liked it, and it stuck. And we didn't like dwell a great deal on the significance of the name, but I suppose if I have to try and explain it. So of course it has like a literal meaning, as in past haunts is in an actual, like a haunt, a local haunt, a place that you go back to, return to. But then this is also kind of like an emotive sense to that as well, and that, you know, haunts could be interpreted as haunting or kind of like traumatic experiences or whatever, you know, experiences shaped us, and that's what we kind of reminisce on. Or you know, a lot of like the lyrical content comes from a place of experience. Like, I don't know, it seems like for the most part fairly bad experiences, but experiences from which like we can grow, and there's a lot of, you know, positive and negative in what we talk about, I suppose.
Keep dreaming.
Fairly diverse interests. I listen to a lot of like crust and grindcore and power violence and whatnot, but I also listen to a lot of post-hardcore, especially the new wave, considered like the resurgence of screamo, spearheaded by bands such as Touche Amore, Pianists Become the Teeth, Defeater, La Dispute, etc. So Jordan Dreyer lyrically is a big inspiration on me, and the drummer as well, Brandon. Jeremy Bohm is a big inspiration as well. He's the vocalist and lyricist for Touche Amore, and Brett's well, we're already big fans of Touche Amore. As for actual bands, definitely Moving Mountains, Thrice to some degree, Touche Amore, Defeater, Pianists Become the Teeth, yeah. And then
yeah, I came from a very different background, more the death metal, technical death metal stuff. Christian Minzer inspired me at an early stage in my guitar career. But after that, after being introduced to a lot of the bands that these guys have been into for a while, Tides of Man, Touche Amore, Gatherer, Framework, stuff like that, that really influenced me. The interesting chord shapes and just the feeling behind the music, which is quite different to the precision that I've been used to with the death metal stuff. So I got into it very quickly, and it's very emotional, and I enjoy that immensely.
Yeah, I think collectively as a band would probably be Touche Amore parting the sea, but for me Descendants as well plays a big role in writing and music and lyrics. Everything Sucks is one of my favorite albums of all time. So yeah, I think like we said earlier, we have a really big variation of what we listen to and what we like. I also listen to a lot of hip hop, which helps with lyric writing. No, it does. Not like hardcore gangster rap, more the like conscious hip hop. But yeah, exactly. I get stuck. I get writer's block really, really badly. We even have a song about it on the EP, Paper Knife. Yeah, so that's about
Instrumental.
And yeah, and the instrumental track. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why we didn't want to write one. We just couldn't find lyrics. Now we did actually. Wait, is that true? That might be true. That might be true.
This is news to us.
Yeah. Sometimes we're not completely aware of what's going on in the rest of the band, apparently. But yeah, I think my Desert Island CDs would probably be a bunch of Touche Amore and Descendants, a couple other bands as well.
Yeah, Thrice.
Yeah,
Thrice.
There's a lot of Thrice that goes on in this band. Yeah,
Muse.
Yeah, Chris loves Muse. We mentioned that in an interview, and everybody obsessed over it for a while for some reason.
I'm obsessed over it.
Yeah. Yeah, so when it comes to writing lyrics, Scott and I collaborate. Something will pop into my head, I'll send it to him. He'll write a verse in response, and we kind of bounce off with each other that way. Yeah, it seems to work for us. I know most people have their own way of writing, but that's how we do it.
In terms of how we improve as instrumentalists, I don't know, typically it'll happen when I'm listening to a particular piece of music. If I come across a difficult like passage in a song and I want to learn it and I want to incorporate it into my repertoire, that's how I do it. So obviously I try to listen to quite technical music, and it just happens that way. And just practice. I think we all practice at home and try to improve upon what we already know. Brett?
Yeah, look, I love Victor Wooten. I think he's an amazing bass player, but I can't play that kind of bass in a band like this. I mean, I could, but wow, even getting to the level of being able to write like he does versus being able to play what he's written is a bit hard. But yeah, I play a lot of acoustic guitar. I write silly songs at home, and
he sends them to all of us.
I do send them to my band, or I write them for my girlfriend, and then yeah, that's about it. I practice singing to all the music that I like in the car when I'm driving to work. I commute, so it takes quite a while to get to work for me, and yeah, that's it. Otherwise, I play bass as much as I can, but mostly band practices, and I focus on that.
Yeah, I mean, like Scott, I find something technically challenging or interesting that I want to learn, and then I sit down and I try and learn it to my best of my ability. Or I try and write something which is a little bit out of my spectrum, and then incorporate it into my music somewhere, somehow.
Yeah.
You know, with us feeling 7 strings now, it was a whole new thing for me to learn, to that extra range and chord playing, you know, moving away from the whole
Standard tune,
Yeah.
6-string guitars.
From riffage to nice chords.
Yeah. For me, working on playing more versatile genres of music and broadening my range of styles that I can play and incorporate into our own music, we found that bigger chords, although trickier for us, actually give us a warmer sound, more appealing, and yeah, I'll find something I enjoy listening to, and if it's technically difficult, spend time on it and practice it until I've got it down. Hopefully use those type of ideas and the feeling I get from that, put it into our own music, and yeah, that's how I've been working on it.
You'll shed another skin, and I will learn from the pain. Wiser this time around.
I don't. It's a very gratifying thing to be able to do, is be able to share what you've worked on tirelessly with 3 other ridiculous people. And
Scott's the only ridiculous person in the band.
I'm equally ridiculous, and
We're all very
yeah,
serious.
it's yet another, like, it affirms what you're doing. It confirms that you're doing it for the right reasons, and that it's all worth it. So yeah.
It's about connecting with people as well.
Yeah,
With regards to
absolutely.
the music scene and the younger bands and that, you know, I started playing music when I was about 15 in a little punk band at the club called the Purple Turtle, which is in Cape Town. And a lot of people that I'm friends with still to this day and that I know came from that same scene. And I think we've got a bit of a crisis in terms of all-age shows here. You know, the more all-ages shows we have, the more younger people are going to get into this kind of music. If you don't know that it exists and you're sitting at home listening to punk or hardcore or grindcore or whatever, you know, you might have found that on the internet and that's cool. When you find out that there are bands playing that in your town, that's really awesome, and kind of inspires you to start your own band. So yeah, if there's one thing I think we kind of want to try and help with is to try and get the kids into that kind of thing as well.
bring back those shows.
Yeah, bring back all ages shows.
There doesn't seem to be like a great deal of opportunity for the younger generation, and that's what we're really focused on.
It's because everybody got too lazy to organize shows, and
exactly.
the lack of venues to do that are hard. But yeah,
People discovered DJing.
Yeah, that as well.
There's a real lack of young blood in the scene.
Yeah.
There's only 3 or so venues.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, there's kind of just a handful of this kind of music-friendly venues versus other venues that will maybe take more like indie bands or more mainstream sounding bands. So yeah, kids in high school or kids in like the early days of varsity aren't really going to aspire to finding some random dive bar and being like, oh great, let's go here and listen to punk rock, when they don't even know that it exists.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just something that we as a scene are working on. It's not just our band, a whole bunch of us put our heads together, and yeah, we're trying to figure that out, and I think we've got a solution, so that's pretty cool.
In this day and age, social media obviously has a great impact on bands and music, and I guess there's 2 parts to it. It's good in that we can share our music with people that would never have heard of it, people overseas, people in different towns, cities, but that comes at a price, and I think places like Facebook and YouTube really take advantage of that. I mean, the whole pay-to-share thing and to boost your posts and stuff like that, that's ridiculous, and it really takes it out of the smaller bands who surely can't afford, without bringing money out from their own, homes and stuff like that, to pay to share and to spread their music across the world and stuff like that. And obviously we get the opportunity to share the music, but it's just a capitalist enterprise where profit is the main goal. And we've experienced it already.
Yeah, finding people to
just
Facebook.
Yeah, and it's becoming more of a corporate thing than an opportunity for a band. And for us, I mean, we're going to use it because we don't have a choice. But Facebook, YouTube, stuff like that, it takes a toll on the band.
Yeah.
Money.
It's also just social media, while being great, has kind of killed promotion locally, because people now think that you make a Facebook event and everybody's going to come to your show. But that's not how it works. If you don't have posters and you don't have flyers, even if you're worried about wasting paper and stuff, just find a better way to promote things. But do things outside of the computer box as well, you know what I mean? Otherwise, just don't be upset when people don't come to shows if you haven't promoted the show.
It feels like I'm losing touch.
yeah, creating music and writing for us is an outlet for creativity, a good way to express yourself. You know, if you're feeling pissed off, there's nothing like writing a cool hardcore punk song. If you're trying to convey other things, sometimes you need to spend a little bit more time thinking about it and writing something more intricate or beautiful. But yeah, I think we all come from the kind of background where there's no better feeling than picking up some sticks or plugging in and just jamming, and you know, even the simple movement of plucking strings or hitting a skin really helps.
Yeah, it can be really therapeutic.
Or hitting me, apparently. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually getting kicked under the table all the time.
I empathized, wiped your eyes, and recognized.
In terms of playing live, we hit the ground running in 2012. We played a lot. One of our first rounds of shows was at a mini fest. We opened for a few bands that came down on tour, and yeah, we played a big festival over New Year's as well. Coming into 2013, we continued playing, but we also focused on recording Underwater Lullabies, and yeah, coming to 2014, I think we played twice at the beginning of the year, and yeah, then Mitch came on board. We started writing new songs, and we sort of took some time off to find ourselves, and yeah, we had a Oprah Find Your Spirit moment for the band, and yeah, then we went into the studio and recorded. But we've got a show booked coming up soon, and yeah, we're just going to keep playing, which is probably the most important thing, connect with people live. And then we want to go on tour. We want to hit Joburg, Pretoria, and Durban to promote the band and the EP. I really want to play the Winston in Durban. This is a place I've heard about, and I think the guys have heard about since forever. Apparently it's tiny, but it's been the home of sort of punk rock music there for ages. And then just Joburg and Pretoria, it just seems like people are really into their punk and hardcore, so that'd be cool too.